Hello everybody. Okay, so no script today for this video. I basically just got my code and, you know, I'm playing through at the moment. There's two embargoes, one for preview, which is now, and a second one later on for review. Wanted to get this video out today just to give you some high-level impressions of what this is all about. So forgive me if I'm, you know, less coherent than I usually am, but yeah, Returnal. It's, dude, it's fucking cool, I tell you that much. I've played about 2 hours of it now. The first biome down. There are multiple biomes, I don't know how many there are. I've just reached the second one, but I haven't played it yet. So, you know, done all the first section, finished the first boss, got a whole bunch of unlocks and whatever else. Got a pretty clear view of what this game is about at this point, though I do expect that, given what I've seen, there are plenty more surprises in store for me. It's quite a mysterious kind of game that they've built here, House Marque, but also it just feels superb. Like, I had a lot of faith that these guys were going to make a cool game, but so far this is exceeding my expectations by every metric. It's just looking fantastic. It's feeling fantastic. The action is just so thick and good. The exploration is great. Every part of it, I'm just loving so much. So very keen to share some high-level thoughts with you now. Let's take a look at some gameplay and with some music, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Okay, so Returnal, what is the deal? It is a third-person sci-fi shooter roguelite. So, third-person, you guys get that, but at the same time, there are actually some first-person sequences as well, only in the storytelling segments. In your ship, when you come back to life after death, you're in first person then, but also there are some, you know, very personal, very creepy kind of story-driven segments that do see you in first person. But other than that, the game is third person. It is a shooter, which, you know, would make sense. And it is a roguelite. Just to be clear on what that term means, when you die, you go back to the very start and you try again. It's not a roguelike in the sense that all of your progress is wiped and you're just starting completely fresh every single time. It is a roguelite in the sense that there's a kind of meta progression that kicks in. You are unlocking things as you go that you will keep permanently. And there's a big sort of Metroidvania vibe coursing through this, because a lot of roguelites or roguelikes are just about, you know, you become more powerful, you get new guns and you become stronger and whatever else. This is different in the sense that it also has unlocks that allow you to access new areas. So you'll later on get access to a grappling hook, which I don't have yet, but I've seen that there are all these grapple points that I'll do that. You will get access to a melee weapon, which will allow you to break through certain shields that you can't break through at the beginning. These sort of items stay with you as you progress, which unlock new exploration opportunities, right? So it's third-person sci-fi shooter, roguelite Metroidvania. Boom, there you go. Word salad, baby. Love it. The exploration in this game, I think, is pretty great. It's not its strongest point, though. It's very linear, right? So essentially, it's a procedurally generated world. Every time you start up, it's completely new. You can have a look at what you've explored with this little Metroid Prime-inspired map. But yeah, you are essentially going from room to room, okay? The sense of exploration then is not sort of... You don't get lost in this world. You're really keeping a lot of it in your head or just there on the map. But yeah, you're sort of just wandering around in it. It's really about the things that you're seeing, and I think the world that they've built here is just amazing. Like, I love this world so much. It's very reminiscent of Prometheus and from the Alien franchise. I don't mean Alien, because Alien is very much a horror series, which is, you know, on the Nostromo or wherever else. This is very much about sort of like this progenitor race of aliens and what their story was, and they left these ancient ruins behind. And the art style is sort of very H.R. Geiger inspired. The whole motif, the whole vibe just feels so alien. Even the protagonist kind of sounds like Ripley, okay? Just top to bottom, I think this is really wearing its influences on its sleeve. If you were to make a roguelike game set in the Alien universe, this would be it, man. This is it, tick, you know? But I just loved going from room to room and just discovering what's next. There are just so many weird, creepy, monumental architectural features that are incredible, and the lighting is so great, and the sound, oh man, okay, we need to talk about the sound design in this game. 3D audio here is just one of the best implementations I've heard. You are being fed so much information all the time about where enemies are and what's going on around you. Yeah, I love that stuff. As someone that played Hunt Showdown, a game that really kind of like tuned my ear to this sort of stuff, you can tell how House Marque have just put a huge amount of work into this. The 3D audio thing was a bit of a marketing term for Sony. Up to this point, we hadn't really seen any game try and use it properly. This one feels like the first game where Sony is going all in on really serious 3D audio, and it's just sounding superb so far. Really loving that. The other thing is about the controller use as well. Most games that come out on the PlayStation 5 are third-party games as well, so they don't really bother to use the DualSense properly because they also have to be on Switch and on PC and on Xbox, etc. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, which meant that House Marque have used the controller to its full potential. You can feel raindrops, you can feel when you're walking on different surfaces. The amount of rumble that's going on at all times is crazy. In particular, the use of the adaptive triggers is great. You will actually hold down the left trigger just halfway to aim down sights, and then the adaptive feedback kicks in and it stops you from pushing any further. But if you continue to push further, then you will arm the secondary fire of your gun, and that is how you use it. So it's really woven into the way that you play, which is just fantastic. Speaking of combat, so good so far. You know, very fast-paced, actiony third-person shooter with some strong bullet hell elements built into it. You do have a lot of projectiles coming at you at any point in time. I would say that combat is far more about outplaying and outmaneuvering your enemy than it is shooting them, right? There's a lot of auto-aim that kicks in as you're playing this. As long as you're pointing in the general vicinity of your enemy, you're going to hit them. That's fine. They have not put a big premium on pinpoint precision in shooting. What they've really said is, cool, just look at the enemy and pull the trigger, focus on dodging and focus on moving properly. And you do need to mix things up. There are 3 different weapons so far that I've discovered. There's a sidearm, there's a shotgun, and there's an assault rifle. If you're playing with a shotgun, you can't sit back. You have to get up close, otherwise the weapon isn't useful. So yeah, basically you are dodging forward and back and side to side and engaging your enemy close range, versus if you've got the assault rifle, you have the luxury of sitting back a lot more. The sidearm also has a lot of tracking associated with it, like homing missiles that will fire at the same time. There's a lot of auto-aim that kicks in with that as well. But yeah, overall, combat so far is feeling great. Not challenging so far. It's funny because at the very start of the game when it boots up, it actually says, this is a challenging game. But so far, having cleared the first biome, I found it pretty cruisy, pretty straightforward. I've only died twice in that first biome. And yeah, but later on there are challenges that will open up, which I'm sure are going to be much more difficult. One of the most interesting things is the way that it works with online play. If someone dies, it will actually leave a corpse on the ground, and you can discover that corpse, and then you can choose to either avenge them or just sort of like pilfer their corpse for things. If you choose to avenge them, some big boss type enemy pops up and you 1v1 them, and it's super cool, and it's just a really nice thing. So yeah, overall, the combat stuff is really exceeding expectations. It just feels so great to play this game, to maneuver, to fire. And coupled with the excellent exploration, it's as I said, it's really ticking boxes for me. It's quite complex though, I would say. If there's one criticism I would have of the game so far, it's that there's a lot that comes at you really fast. There are so many types of pickups, whether it's basic resources that you use to upgrade, or passive upgrades that you apply to yourself, or consumables that you will pick up, or weapon upgrades, or new keys or whatever. Like, there's a lot that comes at you, and having spent about 2 hours with the game now, I still don't feel fully comfortable with it. You know, I'm still kind of reading tutorials and really kind of trying to break through it. So I would say that, you know, don't expect to step into this and immediately it just makes sense and works. Like something like Hades, for example, which kind of flows naturally. This is a lot more work at the start to understand how it works and really wrap your head around it. Tonally, I think this game is just nailing it. I've already spoken about the exploration factor in the world, but there's just this mystery that permeates all of it. The mystery of why you are there and why you're stuck in this loop, and the history of, you know, this alien species. there's this really creepy sequence where you're exploring your house, which is like the house you grew up in as a child, which, you know, somehow magically ends up on this planet. I'm so keen to learn more about what's going on. Unpacking the mystery of Returnal, I think, is as attractive to me as is like playing the game, you know, and pulling the trigger and running around shooting aliens, you know? So look, overall, I think this has just been fantastic. It just feels so polished and dense and interesting, and there's so much thought put into it. I mean, I know a lot of people had sort of concerns about this one and, oh, is it, you know, gonna be worth the money or whatever else? I don't know that yet. Obviously, I have to do a full review on it, but I can tell you right now that this thing just stinks of quality. Like, the whole thing, top to bottom, just smacks of effort. You know, it just feels just awesome. So that's it, high level impressions so far. Looking forward to unlocking more stuff, looking forward to playing through the rest of it. I'll have a review up on the embargo. Can't share the embargo date with you, that's just how it works in this business, which is kind of weird. But as soon as it is available, yeah, you'll know, so long as you hit the subscribe button and do the notification bell thing. If you've got any questions, hit me down below and maybe on Twitter as well, and I can try and answer them for you. If I'm allowed to answer your questions, I will. But yes, so far, so good. Very pumped. I'm gonna go back and play more of it now. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down so I know to do better for next time. If you enjoyed yourself, consider subscribing, and if you really enjoyed yourself, maybe consider hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. You can see my patrons here on the left. They're awesome. They're amazing. If you want to join them, check out my Patreon page. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.